Now, more specifically, can you tell us about the work that you and your organization are doing to positively affect that indicator?
Sure. We're really excited at United Way to have created what we call the Education Venture Fund that incentivizes schools to, in effect, turn around. So the turnaround process involves schools choosing to move to site-based management, because in many schools the principals don't have control over the classes, the budget, the teams in their building, and we believe you can't be a successful school leader without responsibility and autonomy for the resources in your building. We have brought proven turnaround partners to the region. These are experts who have turned around high poverty schools in other cities and made them high poverty, high performing high schools. And we've asked school leaders to choose those partners, which they've done. And we've funded our first group of 5 schools: Pontiac, Melvindale, Van Dyke Lincoln in Warren, Cody and Osborne High School in Detroit. And we have really inspirational, visionary leaders, really hardworking and just great teachers in those schools now, totally engaging their students and moving them to high attendance rates, high promotion rates that will lead to high graduation rates 4 years from now.
So you've already touched on it a little bit, but a major change in graduation rates won't happen overnight. But what can we expect in terms of progress over the next 2 to 5 years to give people hope?
Well, we're actually looking at weekly reports right now of attendance rates in those 5 high schools that will let us know by the end of the freshman class whether they're going to hit projected graduation rates of 80% or higher. So we will have a report to the community this June that says, of the 30 high schools in the region, here are the first 5 in the turnaround process, and we fully expect to be able to report that while they've had graduation rates less than 60% in years past, after 1 year, all systems are showing that graduation rates are going to be 80% or higher with this first group 3 years from now. And then other schools are already entering the pipeline. Robert Bob in Detroit Public Schools has put 15 more schools into a similar process. So we see complete transformation of these 30 high schools within the next few years. And again, if we're not seeing that type of transformation, we really think that those schools need to be shut down.
Is there a role for individuals to play in support of the work that you're doing?
One of the exciting things that happens in the turnaround process is that high schools go from these large, autonomous buildings. One of the exciting things about the turnaround process is that these high schools go from large buildings where the students are primarily anonymous and the school is ineffective, to smaller high schools on that same campus with a principal for every 500 kids that knows every student by name, and teachers are responsible for getting the young kids from 9th grade freshman orientation in high school to freshman orientation in college. When you have a much more personalized environment like that, it's a lot easier for folks in the community that want to help pick up the phone, call that principal and say, you know what, I'm an engineer, I'd love to help tutor some kids in math or science, and there's a much more personalized environment where the school leaders can connect. And so for us, it's as easy as picking up the phone and calling 211 and saying, I want to help with high school turnaround, and we'll connect you to one of the school leaders of these 5 high schools that can give you a good experience.
And how about for corporations that are in the region that care about this? How can they make a difference?
One of the big things in education now is to move from the old 3 hours of reading, writing, arithmetic to the new 3 hours of rigor, relevance, and relationships. So relationships we talked about. Kids have to know a teacher and a principal cares before they care how much kids need to know how much you care before they care how much you know, right? So that's the relationships. The relevance is where the corporations can come in and offer an opportunity for students to do some job shadowing and job mentoring in their corporation that's phenomenally successful in helping kids see, okay, so I can do this, but it's going to require me to work harder in school. So that's a big help to us.